Hello, Professor. My name is Akashdeep, and I will be representing the midterm presentation report of Ontario Research Fund project submitted by Group 3. The team members are Muskan Mehta, Akashdeep, and Yuvan Sebastian. So, table of contents. So, there are six contents: the description of client and project, the project status, communication, and challenges and proposed solutions. The fifth one is recommendations, and the last is the project cost. Now, about Ontario Research Fund. The Ontario Research Fund provides funding to research institutions to support the operational costs of major projects which have the potential to provide strategic value to the province. The Ontario Research Fund supports new leading edge, transformative, and internationally significant research. The funds provided by ORF covers up to one third of the total value of the project, with the remaining two-thirds covered from a combination of private sector and institutional contribution. Now about the project. In the project, we are using a dataset containing information about various Ontario research fundings since 2003 under the program Research Excellence, Research Infrastructure, and Early Researcher Award. Each funding is listed with information about the project title, project description, the discipline of research, university or college associated, amount of funds, and the total budget of project, etc. In this project, data capturing Ontario Research Fund's funding since 2003 will be studied to the execute predictive modeling and to predict the areas of study which are most likely to receive maximum fundings in coming years. This data will be useful to students in making informed decisions in choosing their area of study of research. Also, through the analysis, the government will be able to know the most crucial areas of study likely to have impact on economy. So our team, so Muskan Mehta as a project manager, Akashdeep as a business communicator, Yuvan Sebastian as a technical consultant. So project status. The project name is Ontario Research Fund. Date of report is 23 to 2023. The date of last report is 16 to 2023. The prepared by our team. Project status. It is on the track. So timeline. Today we are in the week 4th of February and we are discussing about linear regression between number of projects by area of study and amount granted. So in the week second complete we will complete development phase in the week second of March, and then we will start the testing. So the requirement phase. So this is the original data set and this is the screenshot and of research infrastructure program. We have also added the source link which is in the upper, and here downwards this is the screenshot of data dictionary. Now the design phase. So my colleague Yuvan will continue the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash, for introducing my topic. So now I will explain the design phase. So for this phase, we have the main tasks. So at the beginning, we have three different tasks. The first one was additional datasets. So we got just one dataset at the beginning to work on it. Then after we found two different datasets that talks about the same kind of topic. So these are the Research Excellence and Early Researcher Awards. So these datasets have more information about funding by Ontario on different projects. The second point was the cleaning of datasets. So in this point we got more process about the data and changed some aspects about the datasets. And the last point was the aggregation of datasets. So in this point we put together all the datasets in just in one to work on it and to do all the project based on this information that were combined. This picture shows some information about the datasets that we found after to combine with the original dataset. So these are some many rows and it demonstrates some different projects and the topic about these projects. So then after the process of cleaning the datasets, it was mainly about dropping different columns. So in this case, we dropped 6 columns that had information that were not useful for the project or contain different data that were not really useful. And we add 9 new classifications to the project type because these projects we were classified by different types. So in this case, we have 9 new classification based on the project description or the keywords of the project. Then we have the development phase. So in this phase, we have three different points again. The first one is the data modeling. So in this point, we have used Python to model some insights and to try to validate the information and different aspects about the correlation of information. The data visualization, so in this point we built different charts and graphs with the information from the dataset to try to find the distribution of the information. And finally, we have the predictive analysis. So for this point, we have the linear regression. So linear regression will be applied on the information about funding and Ontario, like the money given by Ontario to fund the projects to try to predict how much money will give Ontario in future years based on the information that we got from the dataset from previous years. Um, Finally, we have here some screenshots from Python Jupyter Notebook specifically demonstrating how the data have been distributed and some charts that we have done for investigate how the data, like how stable is the data, how normal is the data. So here is possible to see that it's not really normal. And after we got this heat map to try to demonstrate the relationship between different variables. Finally, these are the first step for linear regression and try to predict the amount of money by the number of projects by area of a study. Here we have more information about reports that have done the Ontario. So in these reports we can see how much money Ontario have been like given to different colleges or universities to fund different projects about studies, sorry, and different aspects about investigation. So based on these different articles and information, it's possible to predict some future values, and also it's possible to see and compare the accuracy of the information that we can get from the linear regression in future steps. So thank you, and now I will let that my colleague Muskan continue with the topic.
Thank you, Yuan, for explaining the development phase of our project. Now, I'll discuss about the communication that happened with the client and within our team. So the previous meeting with our client was on 16th Feb 2023, which was a project meeting. The participants was Richard, me, Akash, and Yuan. The medium of this meeting was online. It happened via Microsoft Teams. The main agenda of this meeting was to discuss about the status and progress of the project. The additional discussion along with this agenda was to discuss the completion of development phase and how to go about it and the respective strategy to be followed. The result of this meeting was that the client shared feedback. Now, there was a project team meeting which happened on 20th Feb 2023. It was within our project team. The participants was me, Akash, and Yuan. It happened via conference call. And the main agenda of this meeting was to discuss about the linear regression in order to forecast the data. The additional discussion along with this was the interpretation of charts which we have created from data visualization in order to discuss the anomalies in data. So we discussed all the charts which we have created so far, and whatever anomalies we are getting in the respective charts, we discussed about that. The result of this meeting was that we have started predictive analysis for our project. Now, challenges and proposed solutions for the next phase. The next phase of our project is testing phase, and the challenge which we are thinking we will face so far is that lack of quantitative fields in dataset. So our data mostly contains qualitative fields and has very few quantitative columns. As a solution to this problem, we will categorize and code the qualitative fields in the dataset so that it may be used in analysis to provide insights. The next challenge which we are going to face is that integration of charts and visuals on SharePoint dashboard. So we have not integrated any charts so far on our SharePoint dashboard. We are creating most of the charts and visuals through Python only, which is making it quite difficult to integrate on SharePoint. So, as a solution to this challenge, we will create similar visuals on MS Excel and then we will integrate that on our SharePoint dashboard. The recommendations for a current phase, which is development phase. The first recommendation is that we integrate visuals and charts on our dashboard to get insights in data for better comprehension. So when we look at the dashboard, we'll know the status and the initial insights of the data. So that will make the user more comfortable in grasping the main insights of the data. The second recommendation is increase the focus of predictive analysis in order to get insights regarding project areas holding most strategic value to economy. So we are going to expand the horizon of our predictive analysis so that we bifurcate the project areas which may hold most strategic value to our economy and which may boost more jobs in the near future. The third one is comparing the cost of project with the projected cost in terms of budgeted and actual hours. So far, we don't have the visual for this, but we are recommending that it should be on our dashboard so that we can just look upon it and know the standing of our project, whether we are within the budgeted hours or we are crossing it or we are below the budgeted hours. This is a project cost. It is a comparison of budgeted and actual hours. The blue bars describe the sum of budgeted hours and the pink bars describe the sum of actual hours. It is further bifurcated for individual phases, that is design, development, and requirement, as it can be looked at the sum of actual hours is less than the sum of budgeted hours for all the individual phases. So we are within our budget hours. Now, recommendations for the next phase. More visuals should be created to better understand various data points to get the best analysis. The testing phase should begin before completing development phase so as to compensate scope of errors and have margin time to recover from the same. The third one is analyzing the results of predictive modeling with respect to results giving strategic value to the economy. That's all. Thank you so much, sir.